All right, guys, and we are back with another episode of Let Me Finish. We are on episode 75. What? Yeah, and I'm your host, Janice.
I'm Jillian.
And I'm Michael.
All right, guys, so let's just dive right in. I think first, let's briefly talk about our weeks if we can.
Yes.
Even though, speaking of my week, I did go vote.
Yeah.
Did I talk about that last week? Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I voted. And then... Oh, nothing then. wait, I just went to work. That's it.
I slept at some point.
I definitely went to bed.
Yeah.
I've been watching Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah.
It's getting good, girl.
What season are you on?
I'm on season 7 now.
Oh, wow.
Season 7.
You're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it. I'm like, what's gonna happen to these girls next, bro? Because they just introduced this new girl this last season named Mia. Mia Wild, bro. I like her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's like a 6-foot ex-stripper with size like 12 feet.
Okay.
She's real pretty though. But she's a big girl. That's
girl?
a big tall woman.
Okay. Hey, somebody will climb that tree.
But you know, she's married. She's married with 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I always like to see tall women in those spaces because I'm 5'7" myself, so I'm pretty tall. So I like to see women who are super tall and wear the super tall heels and just be skyrocketing above everybody. Because I always feel self-conscious when I'm like so much taller than everybody else.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's nice to see. Helps me with my little image and know that it's okay to be the tall bitch in the room.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You own it, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much my week. I really didn't do nothing.
Yeah. So it's end of month, so pretty busy at work. So I'm pretty much glued to my seat at work. So it was end of the month is always rough for me. I finished. I'm sorry, I didn't finish a book. I started a book called Twisted Love by Anna Hong. We'll see. That may be a DNF. Not DNR. A DNF.
I was like, food not resuscitating.
I mean, did not finish. It's a slow start.
Yeah.
But I've just gotten started, so I may power through. We'll see. I might switch up to something else. I'm actually really wanting to read Eve's new autobiography.
Oh, I heard about that.
That's what I'm really wanting to read, and I feel like I'm just using a placeholder until it's my turn in the line to check it out at the library.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then I finished. There was the season finale for Agatha All Along. I'm still waiting for Janice to finish so we can talk about it because the ending was just so good. Yeah. And
I know.
Then I also, what did I also do? I also, Meg Thee Stallion had her documentary in Prime in her own words. It was very interesting to see her and her talk about her mental health in dealing with everything that happened with the shooting with Tory Lanez and everything like that. So it was interesting to see. I'm just like, damn, girl, like, and it's funny because Lorianne Gibson I did not know that Lorianne Gibson, everyone knows, is a choreographer that she's worked with Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. Of course, she was on Making the Band, and she worked with Danny DeCan and lots of other artists that she's worked with. I did not know that she choreographed for Meg Thee Stallion as well. So I thought that was interesting. And I think her, first of all, because based on our topic that we're going to go into, Meg Thee Stallion, after everything she's gone through, girlfriend's body is
it's incredible.
Absolute
Body yanny.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Perfection.
And her face is just stunning.
I know she is.
I'm
Such
just
a
like,
beautiful woman.
She really
one
is.
day body goals. Like it's.
I don't think you can have that body.
Well, and
Sometimes that kind of body is just genetic. Because,
Right.
you know,
It is.
she just
It
has that
is.
little waist. She has such a cute little waist.
Yeah,
and
she
she has
does.
this huge ass.
Yes,
Yeah.
she does.
Like, I mean, body goals, I don't like to put, like, body goals in front of me that are just, like, unattainable. Because
I
I'll
guess-
never have that kind of ass.
And no, I mean not say you be specifically shaped like her, but like how in shape she is, and like to do what she does, she has to be in incredible shape, and you can see it. Like she is tall, muscular, but like curvy in all the right places. And
Right.
just that I may not look exactly like her. I'll probably have a bigger chest than her. She's more like maybe more of a pear shape, but she got the ass for days. Damn, girl. And so I was just seeing her. I'm just like, yeah. I'm just like, yeah. I question myself sometimes.
I was just about to say, are you finished?
Yeah.
Jillian.
Like, I was
Got a little toasty for
I was like, oh shit. Okay, Julie.
But the best part,
her eyes were like
the funniest part is that you guys aren't watching. You're not here. You're just listening to this, but I'm here watching it happen
her
in real
facial
life.
expressions.
And Jillian's doing everything but like clutching her pearls,
I was just
just
yeah.
fanning
I'm
herself
just
a little
saying,
bit.
For
her
every,
body is nice.
yeah, very nice.
Yeah, Jillian, we get it.
It is nice.
It's
nice
very
body.
nice.
Okay, great.
So yeah, she's just seeing
I
her.
think all women have, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so
I mean,
it's just seeing her, and like I said,
It's not for me.
seeing her through her journey. And like I said, she talked about her mom, and then of course the breakdown of her friendship with Kelsey, but then seeing her with other family members. She's been through a lot, and
Yeah.
I was just like, damn, like I feel like unfortunately a lot of people from the hip hop community or on social media really let her down.
Yeah.
And calling, be quick to call her a liar, even though Tory Lanez has had issues with
Lying.
but also that wasn't the first time he got in trouble, and that she really was trying to protect him only for the state of California to be like, okay, clearly that's not what happened. We're gonna press charges against him. And so she went through a lot, and she's like, I feel like everyone hates me and no one believes me, and a lot of things where she said that I did end up going through, because like she said that specifically, and please go watch the documentary. She said like, hey, if me as a celebrity
Right.
is getting this much
Backlash.
and not being believed, imagine just being a regular person. And
Without
I
the
have to
fame.
show that if you fight for it, you can get justice. And so I think that's why she's just like, okay, I'm gonna go through this, even if no matter what what happens, I'm gonna cooperate and
Yeah.
go along with this.
Good for her.
For her. So it was interesting. If you can, just go and watch it. It's a really good watch.
Yeah, I do like her. I've always considered her. She's very classy. I mean, I know she has songs that are not the classiest.
She's still
but
classy.
She's still classy.
She's fucking nasty with those
I still
rap
love
lyrics.
it. You can do that and still be classy.
No, I agree. She's still. As soon as
We all know Julian's celebrity crush.
yeah, we've established
Women.
that.
Meg the Stallion.
Yeah.
Got it. It's
Megan-
actually Megan the Stallion, but
Yeah, Megan Pete is her real name.
everybody else says Meg the Stallion, but it's really Megan the Stallion. But
Yeah.
yeah, she's something. I like her. How was your week?
Oh,
Yeah.
my week. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. I was like, what was I about to say? Yeah, nothing eventful. Just getting ready to have this election be over. I'm just so ready to not have to think about it anymore. And when I went to go vote early, I think it's so great that there are these volunteers. They're all there that are they're doing their civic duty. They don't have to do it, but they do it anyway. And I saw a lot of first-time voters. And I only know they're first-time voters because there's a guy out there. There was an older gentleman. He was like, "Is this your first time voting?" to these young people, and they were like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, that's great." And I was like, "Yeah." I was thinking like it is great. But I think a lot of what scares me is a lot of people that are first-time voting, and this is
Are
probably
influenced or
they don't know a lot about
what's going on?
what's going on.
Or what happened?
Well, I think they weren't around for the first time, and there are a lot of young people I've seen on YouTube. I'm not a young person, so I can say this without I see young people.
We are young, Michael.
People in their I'm talking like 19, 20,
20, right.
that just see him as a superhero, and they're like, "Oh, he's so cool," and it's like,
Oh, so you feel like the younger generations are more
They don't
on the
Trump
Trump
side,
side?
yeah.
Really?
that's or maybe that's
I
just
think
random.
it depends. I think
I feel like
some.
a lot more for Kamala.
Really.
Yeah, I think they.
I think.
I hope so.
Overall, as a country, younger voters do skew more Democratic, and thus Harris.
Yeah.
But in Texas, I think it'll be a little different, because I think also when you're younger, you think you tend to align more with your parents.
Yes,
of course. And then I think once college is a good opportunity to, because I think once
Explore.
people are exposed to other
beliefs.
beliefs and people of different backgrounds and upbringings and things like that, that they challenge people in their way of thinking. So, you know, when you go to work, where you're in the workforce, you even though some places you do talk about politics, other places you don't.
Oh, no, we can't talk about politics now.
Yeah.
But you may not specifically talk about politics, but then you may encounter someone of, you know, a different background, and they may tell you their life experience that may challenge your point of view at something. If you are around somebody who may not have grown up in the same area as you,
Right.
and they're like, oh, you know, I saw that different. You know, they have a particular situation and they come from a totally different angle and see it different based on their own upbringing, their life
That's
experience.
true.
And so you're like, hey, you know, because I've definitely been challenged where I'm just like, man, I didn't even think about it like that, because that isn't in my repertoire.
I feel like that's the case with like Republicans versus Democrats. I think for me it's a little different from a Trump supporter to a non-Trump supporter.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see your point of view from a different angle, from a different vantage point, Republican wise, but not Trump wise.
Yeah,
like
that's
there's really nothing. Honestly, anybody can say that really mean like, oh, I get why you support him. No, like no. So
Justifiable.
Yeah.
this is nothing. There's no redeemable qualities for me, and
There's no substance.
and him.
No.
So just things that, and not only that I've heard him say, but I've seen him do. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of where it's the line's drawn in the sand for me with him. So.
And honestly, I think
Like, I understand people, you know, voting Republican and being Republican and just really voting for their party. I do understand that part. And I would never want to take away somebody's feelings about their views and what's important to them. And, you know, because it's just some views are just like your deal breakers, and some are like you have like those are like pillars of what you believe in your government. That's fine. But like now when we're talking about people who just don't want democracy at all, and you know, that's when it's getting to the point where I'm like, that's scary. It's going in a direction of history, and we should be wary of this. So that's I've always been able to freely debate with my friends who are Republican, and we've always been able to come away with it with respect for each other.
Yeah, that's great.
That's not been the case with Trump supporters.
I think it's different with Trump, because I think he doesn't stand. He doesn't really stand for anything. I think that's a problem with him. He's truly an empty vessel.
Yeah.
Where for him, he is truly doing this. The only reason why he's running again is to stay out of jail.
Yeah.
It's a word salad for him. I think I even saw somebody with it's so funny because these people at the polls, and they like ask them questions, and they don't know. To your point with the younger generation, they're so misinformed. It's like they were talking about tariffs and. You know, oh, well, Trump said that we're going to tax them, and that's how we're going to lower it. And they were like, that's not what tariffs are. Like, do you know what they are? Do you know how they work? And they were like, I didn't know that. And it's just like, just that 5-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Completely debunked what you were voting for him for.
Or even in like inflation. A lot of people don't know what that word means. So if you Google it and you find out what it means, and you find out that people are, there was a guest at the hotel that I work at yesterday, and he was probably 13 years old, 12 years old, and he was asking about something, and then he's like, inflation is just crazy, isn't it? And I was like, what are
you talking about?
What are you talking about?
We're talking about Willis.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he was like, he was trying to have an in-depth conversation, and I engaged with him, but it was weird because I was thinking like,
that's completely false.
I don't think he knows what the right.
Right.
That's fine.
And
but it was
he's 13 or 12, so I mean, it makes sense.
Cute. I don't know the point of my bringing that up. Basically, just people will say things they don't.
Just uninformed. Because I had someone tell me, and she honestly says that she has no idea what's going on, but she knows she wants Trump in office. I was like, okay, well that makes sense. But then she told me something along like, every single Democratic president we've been in a recession. I'm like, who told you that? Where did you hear that? Like, and can you tell me? Can you give me examples?
Yeah.
No, that's just what my grandpa says. I'm like, okay,
there you go. Yeah. And it's funny because anyone who's ever what's CNN known as Don Lemon. He's off doing his own thing right now, and that's what he's been doing. He's been in battleground state, engaging with lots of different people, Democrats, Republicans, undecided voters. And he went up to a person and he's like, okay, you know, he will start asking them questions. Why are you, okay, you say you're for Trump. Why? And this guy goes, propaganda. And it's like, what do you mean propaganda? Can you give an example? And as soon as he tapped into that, I said, I need specific examples. I need to know where you're getting this from. And it's the humming and hawing and not really. Well, what about, you know, I just can't trust Kamala. Okay, and you can trust Trump, but you can't trust Kamala, but you can't verbalize specifically why you're voting for Trump. I mean, because a lot of people who say, okay, Kamala, because I feel like she'll do X, Y, and Z. And then people were pointing at another video I read. It was just like, look, out of the 17 times that the country has been in a recession, 13 of those times it was under a Republican president. So this idea that somehow life is better and on average GDP does do better on a Democratic president versus a Republican. I'm just like, the thing is that you feel a certain way, but the numbers don't
back it up.
Yeah. And I just feel I think a lot of people deep down, and this is my own personal opinion, when it comes to Trump specifically, I think for them, he is maintaining a hierarchy that they don't want crushed. Yeah. Which they felt maybe was solely maybe might crumble. Not saying it was when Obama was elected. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where the rub or the discomfort or the love for Trump comes from, because he says things maybe a lot of people would say in their living rooms, would never say out loud in public with other people, but they were definitely saying it in private in their own living rooms. Yeah. And Trump gave them the permission, like, I'm saying it out loud. Yeah. Come at me. I don't care. Yeah. Because I guarantee you the things that he's saying on stage, I guarantee you he said those things.
Of course.
In private. And I think that's what Trump is it allows a lot of people to say those dark thoughts in public and not feel ashamed.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not a political conversation, so I don't want to go too far down that path. But I think by the time this comes out, we'll know, because it's Sunday, so we'll know who has won by then. And because we dropped this on Wednesday, so this should be Wednesday. We should know who won. But to Jillian's point, Jillian was like, we won't know till Saturday. I'm like, huh? We usually know Tuesday night. So, and I told her, I said, tell me another election besides 2016 and 2020 where we did not know who won when we went to bed. And the only reason why it seems like we don't know is because of all the requests for recounts and things of that nature. So
yeah, so
he was fine in 2016 when he won. He won as for no recounts then. We knew who won that night, Wednesday, didn't we?
We did in 2020, and I think
because honestly, I remember thinking in 2020, this is the first time this has been this drawn out. I'm like, since when? Is it freaking Friday? We're talking about counting ballots.
Yeah, I think this 2020 was unique because of COVID and because there was a lot of mail-in ballots, and I think also I believe the one state that kind of held things out that we're like, okay, we need to figure out what the count is there was Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania did have a rule, which Pennsylvania had said, we're not gonna know our results Tuesday, because Pennsylvania, when it comes to mail-in ballots, they are not allowed to even open the ballots until election.
So when they know Wednesday
and counting,
they need Wednesday.
Girl, and I think Georgia. And
how long did it take you to count up some votes?
At the time, Georgia was in play. So Georgia hadn't fully, I think Cobb County, that was the biggest. Every other county came in, but because of the turnout in Cobb County, it took a really long time.
Everything about the last election was shit show. Yeah, everything, including January 16th. So hey, I'm not trying to make that the rule. That was just like an exception.
No, I mean, at this point, I think also with all the things that have been put in place, or he's already putting out there that, hey, it's rigged, it's going to get stolen. I'm prepared for there may be violence on Tuesday. There's a possibility. I know, like, I'm sure law enforcement are preparing for that. So I think that's the part I'm most afraid of.
Nervous about, me too. I have a lot of anxiety about that. That's for sure.
So I'm definitely going straight home and
lock the
calling
door.
calling it a night, because I'm just like,
I mean, what was it when Obama when he got elected? I mean, I was in college and there were like signs burning and nooses around trees. And
Lord.
So,
she told us about that. She was in Waco.
Yeah, it was awkward because I went to my class the next day. It was a class full of white people. I was the only white person. So that was awkward.
How bizarre.
Yeah, it was awkward for sure.
I would have been like,
it's only like a class of like, because I was a speech pathology major, so there was probably like only 15 girls in my class. It was all women and all white women. So of course you don't know what their views are, but it's just walking in. The only black student. It's just a little awkward. So
but y'all didn't discuss it, did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good. Okay.
No.
Denise was like, I'm out of here.
Hell no. If they started to, I would have been like, well, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we're good.
I would have
my person won, so I don't care.
I wouldn't have anything to say. That's so awkward because the election's already done.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing to. What is there really to discuss? The election's done.
What was that? 08?
And then if you wanted to discuss it, I think so. Yeah, if you wanted to discuss it, the time for discussion would be before the election and when you went to go and vote. So
yeah,
there's nothing else to say. Like, and that's how I feel about this election. Like, I really think she's gonna win, but to Jillian's point, like, I really thought Hillary is gonna win, so I don't think we're gonna make the same mistake twice. But
I'm prepared.
You never know. So either way,
it'll be a gut punch, but
we're gonna persevere. We're gonna power through. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is our catch up on that. And I think. Do we want to discuss the Wicked poster or no?
Do you want to? I'm down. Whatever.
Cynthia, what's our girl?
Cynthia. No?
Jillian doesn't want to discuss it.
All right.
No.
Sounds good.
We've already had the discussion. Another day.
Sorry, guys. Jillian doesn't want to be dragged on this podcast today.
Well, whenever when the movie actually comes out, we may go ahead and talk about it. But
okay, yeah,
not today.
because Wicked. I can't. When does it come out?
November something. It's before Christmas. I think it's Thanksgiving. I think.
Is it? I thought.
No, am I being wrong?
They've been talking about it for so long.
I can't keep track,
that I've been like, is this even real?
Right. Are y'all really doing this movie?
Is this really movie? Because then you have Ariana Grande, and I'm like, is this spam?
Imagine this whole thing was just spam. This whole.
Ariana Grande lost her whole marriage.
Too.
She lost her whole marriage behind this movie.
True.
So
she sure did.
Let's go.
Forget about that.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back, guys.
You can give us something, baby. I do it all the time. Baby, I'm talking crazy. I need you running my space, but I need it, baby. I'm late, but I still can check in with you. I know that I need my friends, but I wouldn't wanna leave. You know, I wouldn't wanna bleed, even by.
Okay, all right, so we're back. So this week we're going to talk about body image and body positivity. Just to go with another, topic that's, more based in our lives and what we go through every day. So, and I just want to quickly talk about what made me think about talking about this topic. And it was something I saw, I've been seeing it, right, with Lizzo. So we know Lizzo came on the scene a couple years ago, right around COVID. I think she got really big. And one of the main topics about her was her weight. She's a bigger artist and just not really super in shape. I wouldn't say she's... I don't want to sit there and put any judgment on it, but I don't think she's like this crazy large human. Like she's just overweight, right? So... Of course, everybody's been talking about how she's overweight. She needs to get healthy. She needs to be a good role model or for people and whatnot. Which, to your point, or to that point, I do think as a person of influence, you should be conscious about what you're putting out there and what people are consuming, including just body positivity, not necessarily working out, which I think she always was positive about her body and like, this is who I am. This is my body. Right. But to her point, she hasn't really treated her body that great. She's not been, your body's a temple, right? Yeah. So, and you only get one body, right? So now she decided, what? I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna go on this health journey. I'm gonna be healthier. Regardless of what my body's going to look like afterwards, I know I want to be healthy.
Right. That's the matter. So.
Right. She's like, I don't necessarily am saying I need to be this size or that size, but I want to be healthy, and I want to start putting in my body the things that will make it stronger.
Nutrients.
And I want to work out. So she started doing that. And I think she was very hush-hush with her weight loss journey and things like that. So then when she came out, of course, everybody was like, what did you do? Did you have surgery? Are you on Ozempic? What is it? So I just felt like it was just like, damn it, girl, damn if she does, damned if she don't. Like, let this, however she lost the weight, right? For me, she does seem healthier.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, she admitted like she would work out, but she did not eat healthy.
Yeah.
Is what she would say. You know, I work out, but I'm not a healthy eater necessarily. So it seems like she's doing the right things. She's showing that she's doing the right things. Even if she had a little assistance to lose the weight, which Ozempic is there to help you lose the weight.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem. No. And I don't think she should be questioned. I don't think she should be badgered.
Yeah, somebody's business.
It's nobody's business. And like I think she was for Halloween. She was in Ozempic pen.
I didn't know that.
I thought it was funny.
Cute.
Like shooting a little fun at it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but that's just my take on it. I mean, that's what made me think about it. Because again, I think we all should have, you know, a healthy view of our bodies, and again, whatever that looks like for your body.
Yeah.
Right. But as long as I think you should feed your body nutrients, protein. There is a, you know, what is it? Chart. Chart.
Yeah.
What is that thing
the
called?
Triangle thing.
The food pyramid?
Pyramid.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like to where like all those things are a part of our diet. It's just how much of it you're placing it in your diet, right? So I think as long like she's following that kind of thing, working out, I think it's important. So I think it's really nice that she's showing like, hey, I'm working out, I'm eating better, I'm doing the right things. And I think that's what we should be focusing on with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that we're talking about this. So with her, like you said, damn if you don't. When she was bigger, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. She was never huge. I mean, she's just big.
Yeah, she was bigger. That was what people were harping on. You need to lose weight. You need to be healthy, yada, yada, yada. And she's taking what those trolls said and says like, okay, fine, I'll do that. You know, you claimed that this was about my health, that you're concerned for my health. So I took it seriously and I'm doing exactly what you told me to do. Work out, eat better, lose weight. Now it's how she's choosing to meet those goals.
Right.
Now you have a problem.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And I feel like when she gets thinner, people are going to still talk about her.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
Rebel Wilson.
Yes.
Michael, maybe you can speak with us as far as like men. Me personally, I just feel like it's more pressure on women specifically.
Sure, definitely.
Not saying that men don't experience their own issues with body image. I'm just going from what I see in the media versus also what I struggle with myself as a woman, because I think when it comes to beauty and body image, I think there's more pressure.
Yeah.
On women. Let me know
totally
if you
agree.
feel okay. So I feel like it's,
but I think Jonah Hill, like he has publicly come out and talked about the pressures he's had in Hollywood to maintain like a certain body type, and then what Seth Rogen also lost a lot of weight, and so I think. But I think it's definitely more so women it's our bodies are kind of what people look at first, more so than our mind and other things. So,
but I feel like with Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill, they were praised more when they lost the weight in a way that Lizzo isn't experiencing that.
You're right, because you're right with Rebel Wilson effect as well. Like what did you do? How did you lose? Even Mindy Kaling. She was also, but To be fair, she just lost too much weight. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, she
Relax.
There it goes, and then people say, "Oh, you lost
She's
too much."
so
Like,
skinny, though.
oh my gosh!
Yeah.
It's
I'm
one
like,
of those
well,
things.
gosh.
It's one of those things where
You're right. Yeah, that's so true.
There's no winning.
it's hard to hit that sweet spot where people thinking you're too thin, and especially if they're used
That's
to you in
true.
a bigger body, and then you get thinner. It's almost like, okay, well, I'm at a healthy weight. I don't say she was underweight. It's just because you're so used to seeing her a specific way.
Mindy?
With Mindy.
Yeah.
I think even
She's
with
a
Rebel,
little- yeah.
I think you're just so used to seeing them at a specific looking, especially in the face, they're a little bit more
Yeah.
rounder, and so
Pudgy.
you're like, I'm not used to seeing this person like this, so you feel like, okay, because I'm not used to it, I haven't gotten used to it, there's something wrong. And then I think they both
Even-
had her a healthy weight.
There's
No,
I mean, Mindy just continues to lose. So there was a point. I mean, and that's why I'm saying I don't really think it's for me to judge, you
Yeah.
know, like what is a good weight for her. But she does seem like she's just, there was a
Continues to-
sweet spot for me. And it's just, she looks, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, she just seemed to be continuously losing weight. So I'm like, okay.
here's the thing, and this is one where I felt bad because I did judge Chadwick Boseman. And when he lost all that weight and we didn't know why,
Right.
I thought it was specifically for a movie role. And I was just like, damn, he doesn't look so good.
yeah.
And really not knowing that he was battling cancer at the time
Yeah.
until he died.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, here I'm thinking that he's losing it for a frivolous reason.
And change your
Judging.
opinion, right?
And I'm just like, I didn't know what he was going through. It wasn't
Oh, that's
a choice.
interesting. I definitely saw him and I was like, he looks sick. That was my first
Choice.
thought.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't want to see it.
You don't believe it? Yeah.
Honestly, because everyone knows I love the Black Panther movies, and I just felt like, oh my god, at the
Well, I
time,
don't know. I don't think you should judge yourself for that because I mean Matthew McConaughey lost a lot of weight for a role.
That's true.
And that's what I
What's
thought.
his name? Jared Leto. So
Yes.
as
It's-
actors, it's a natural thing for us to assume you're losing weight for a
And
role.
What's
Right.
his name?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You shouldn't feel guilty.
No, I'm just saying that. But I did judge. I was just like, damn, what are you doing?
Losing
I
weight
did-
for a role.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was judgy, and I was just like, it's not my body. I shouldn't comment or make speculations on his body. Clearly, this was something he wanted to keep private and
yeah.
to find
Well,
out.
we're
oh
human.
my god!
I think
for
we're
4
all
years
gonna
But
speculate or
I understand.
think
I understand
things.
that, but once I knew the reason why, I felt bad. I did feel bad because there was you're a little bit like, damn, what are you doing? There's a little bit of that judgment.
Yeah.
There, not knowing that for 4 years, the past 4 years, including when he was filming Black Panther, he was
Yeah.
battling a really serious illness.
Yeah.
And so for me, that made me pause for sure.
Yeah.
I was just like, when we're talking specifically about weight, there's a lot of different things like when it comes to body image that we should talk about, not specifically just whether someone's thin or, overweight or whatever. There's many different
Variations.
different things that people experience when it comes to our bodies where whether you're a woman who's tall and dealing with that
Yeah.
stereotype where Janice was talking about that feels so awkward. I'm just like, but you're
I'm tall.
like, you're tall, and I'm just like, I've never.
And then I have like a best friend who's super, super short, and then she's like, I need heels. Like I
Right.
have to. Like, and it's just
Right.
crazy, like how we're all like
Yeah.
trying to aspire to this
know, it's
certain
goal.
and there's no set image, right? But we're all aspiring to this
To be something different.
perfection.
You're right.
Yeah.
And there
so-
is no perfection. Beauty's in
Yeah.
the eye of the beholder. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Exist,
I know for me, like one of and is like my legs, right? Because they're very straight up and down, but I also like have like while my feet go out. And
Okay.
I've
never noticed.
people will bring it to like say like, oh, you walk with your feet pointed out. I'm
I
like,
have that too.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I don't notice that, and I think honestly
Thanks.
because
I appreciate
I'm
that.
only
Because I'm so conscious about it a bit.
I'm only 5'4", so I sit in the average for a woman. I'm not extraordinary. I'm not extraordinary as far as being short or as being
Tall.
I guess you could still consider me shorter or super tall. So
I don't know what's the
compared to
height.
what?
What's the height?
I'm just like, I'm average. So the
What
average,
is the height? Like, you know what I
the
mean?
average woman, I'm sorry, let's backtrack. The average U.S. woman is 5'4". And so I'm exactly at average, which means there's nothing extraordinary different either way in regards to my height, because on average when you meet a woman, she's going to be my height. So but then when you go, if Janice was
what is that
but
about?
me
it's
but
in the
for
US.
me at 5'4", I probably couldn't have a career as a runway model, because
Neither
those
could I.
women are, on average, those women are very tall.
Yeah, they are.
You know, you're not going to see me on the basketball court with Caitlin Clark, because those women are very tall.
Right.
But,
Yes.
you know, they're the outliers, you know, when it comes to that. Or when it comes to men,
Right.
There you
men,
go.
it's seen as men who are shorter, which I don't have a problem with.
Right.
That
Versus
there's
someone
who's
tall
you have to
and-
be 6 foot, or you know whatever I think the average man is like.
So the average
5'10".
woman in the U.S. is 5'3".
Oh, okay.
Non-Hispanic Black women are 5'4" is the average height. Non-Hispanic Asian women are 5'1" and a half, and then Hispanic women are 5'2".
There you go.
Interesting.
So I'm average for a black woman.
Yeah.
And so, like
That's
I said,
crazy.
you know, on average, the average man is
big
you know,
bitch.
around 5'9", 5'10". But if a man is shorter than that, which, you know, I like my short kings too. Tom Holland, hello.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
there's lots of short men out there that, and there's actually a lot of short men that I don't perceive them when I see them on camera as short.
Yeah, same.
Morris Chestnut. He's so short.
Is he short? I didn't know
Is
that.
he?
Yeah, he's like 5'6", I think.
Oh, I didn't
5'6"
know
or
that.
5'7".
I had
But they
no idea.
always have made him look taller in movies.
He's handsome.
There you go. There you
Morris Chestnut. Because I looked at it, I was like, what? Mm-hmm. How tall is this man?
There's also comedians like Melissa McCarthy. There are
Oh,
people
wait,
that
this
said,
says 6 foot.
Oh,
Okay, maybe I
go.
read
I'm like,
that
Morris
somewhere.
Chestnut. I'm like, huh?
Oh, maybe I read that.
He was
Maybe
that
I
short.
read that wrong.
I know Tom Cruise is short in real
Short,
life.
yeah.
I
But
know
even
Tom
though
Holland
they
is
put
shorter.
6 feet, but I heard that he's really short. So maybe they just, you know how like they do it on these,
Yeah.
they make it look like they're taller. So I don't know if he's 6 foot, honey.
Okay.
Kevin Hart is
Because Tay
short.
Diggs is short.
And of course, you
They
know-
put him at 5'10". I don't think Tay Diggs is 5'10".
And 5'10" isn't short.
I don't think that's short. That's average.
So for me, as a 5'7" woman, 5'10" is not tall for a man. For
Okay.
me,
Okay,
That's
so
fair.
5'4".
you're just average.
Yeah.
I'm 5'4", so that's tall enough for me. So, like I said, I'm average, so that's average for a man. So here we go. You know,
There-
but could you be with someone who was shorter, Janice?
If he
No.
made you happy. If he made you happy.
Princess
I
Straight Man, and all
dated
that
men
stuff.
who were short, like literally my height, were slightly shorter than me. So I guess so.
Yeah.
But it's
just
not
your-
ideal.
I get it. I
yeah,
understand.
it's not ideal because then I would probably feel a little self-conscious about wearing heels ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's many different components to it, not specifically the number on the scale. Like I said, there's height. I think there's also a racial component to when it comes to beauty standards and things like that. And
Yeah, average height for a man is 5'9".
there you go.
That's crazy. Jeez.
It's funny
But
because
it makes sense because that's actually usually what I see, 5'9", 5'10". That's usually what I see.
yeah.
And once you hit 6 foot, it's like, oh, you're tall.
You're tall. Yeah.
That- I've always thought
I
that.
actually think 5'11" for me and men is like the perfect height.
Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like 6'1".
Not off.
6'1" is what I want. But 5'11", I can. It's like
you'll be
you're tall enough to where I can wear heels and probably be your
Not feel
height.
self-conscious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's being able to not feel self-conscious. I
Yeah,
understand that.
and that's and to be fair, as far as body image, that's something within me, right? That man could be totally okay with me being tall and towering over all of that. That's,
But if you have a problem
it's
with that-
more of an internal thing
Right.
for me, and it's something that I could work on, and things like that, because it doesn't matter. Because I think, from what I've noticed, a lot of short men, short kings, they like them a tall woman.
Yeah.
They don't mind it at all. Look at Zendaya and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
She's 5'10".
And
He's
she
like
wears them
5'8".
heels. She wears those heels. She wears them Christian Louboutins like nobody's business.
Yeah, he likes to point out. He's like, I'm not that much shorter than her. I'm like, well,
Well. But I mean, they just make it work.
He's not that much shorter than her, because if she's like 5'10", I think he's like 5'9" or 5'8.5" or something. So he's not that much shorter than her. But again, she also wears really, really tall heels.
She seems so long. She just seems so long.
And she's so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. But man, when I saw some video with her and paparazzi, he was batting them paparazzis off his womanhood.
Yeah. Because that's one thing about Zendaya. Man, supermodel.
I was like, oof.
Okay.
Short king.
Yeah, he was like, she's like, Tom, it's okay. He goes, no.
He's like, get off my woman. Yeah. And it's so funny because he always puts his hands back for her and she always grabs it. And you know, she doesn't come off to me like a passive woman or any type of meek woman, but for whatever reason, I think she like lives in her femininity with him.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
I think it's really nice.
Absolutely. I love them both. I feel like they just
because you can, but certain like. That's when you know, like, for me, like, you found your match as an independent woman when a man allows you to live in your femininity and, like, kind of take a back seat and be like, let me let you lead me.
100%.
Right?
Because I want you to, not because you have to.
I need you to.
Right. It's a I've noticed a lot of comedians specifically. Do you guys even remember Zach Galifianakis anymore? He's kind of irrelevant. But from the Hangover movies, there was a time he was really popular at the time. He was very funny. He was a chubby man. He lost weight. And I remember specifically people saying, oh, he's not funny because he lost that weight. And then they said that with Melissa McCarthy when she lost her weight.
And Monique, too.
Same. They said, they're like, oh, Melissa McCarthy is not funny anymore because she lost that weight. And I was like...
Funny's funny.
She's funny.
I think with Monique it's different because Monique, her comedy was more self-deprecating about her weight.
Sure.
That's what she made her cornerstone about. So that was on Monique.
Yeah.
But Melissa McCarthy,
Melissa McCarthy did not.
She's so funny.
She never talked about being fat.
No, I think not in the sense as far as her comedy movies. I think her weight did play a role in a lot of the roles.
The physicality.
Of her roles.
The Heat was so funny.
I love The Heat. It is so funny. It is so funny.
She's hilarious.
She's so good.
Like when she did Mike and Molly.
Yes. I like
that was a big cornerstone of that show.
Yes, it was.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like...
Even that one guy from the King of Queens, didn't he lose a whole bunch of weight too?
He did, yeah. He did.
But I think all of them, again, I think it's more so about as we go on, we are all
evolving,
wanting to be healthier because, again, those type of things do lead to health issues.
Right.
You know, I don't think it's cute. Like, it's one thing to be overweight. It's another thing to, like, harp on it or do mukbangs and just eat in front of people. Like, that's not cute. Yeah. That's not setting a good example for anybody.
No. Yeah, but I also think that when it comes to... there has to be a moment of acceptance as well. No matter what weight you are, whether you're on a weight loss journey or weight gain or whatever journey you're on, I think there also needs to be acceptance as far as where you are at the time.
Right.
You have to love who you are, love your body.
Meet people.
Hey, my body's here. I may treat it bad, but it's showing up and it's trying every single day.
Yeah.
And you have to be appreciative of that as well until you're able to get to where you want to be. I can't wait for me to get to the end goal to love me.
Yes.
And love who I am and love my body.
Right.
Because I think there has to be a level of appreciation and love for your body.
Of course.
And yourself for you to be able to get to what you consider and not what society thinks.
Right.
But you feel, this is where I feel my best, my most comfortable, where I feel like...
Right. Because you can't necessarily, be angry at yourself or looking at your body and be like, I hate my body the entire time you're on a journey. Because, again, your body is what's getting you through the journey.
Exactly.
So, absolutely, you have to meet your body where it is at the moment. And when you set your goals and you push for your goals, but at the same time, understand that as long as you're feeding your body correctly, as long as you're, giving your body that oxygen, that
Rejuvenation.
regimen. I mean, because again, everybody's not a workout person, but again, what are you feeding your body?
Yeah.
What are you putting inside your
Sustenance.
body?
Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't mean, never eat sweets, never drink a soda. No, like that's not the case. It's living a balanced lifestyle.
Yeah,
of course.
and I think that's where the crux is balance, because you have people who literally live in the gym and are eating
That's miserable.
broccoli,
Yeah.
rice, and
Sounds horrible.
chicken all the time.
What do you enjoy?
There's nothing that.
I guess you
Yeah.
enjoy the look of your body, but
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
that's all
was
they have
but
really
you're
going for them.
but
I don't have that much love for
countless
it.
times I'm miserable.
Yeah.
How many times? I mean, I've seen The Rock stuff. Him bulking and getting bigger and bigger, but then you see his cheat days. I'm like, damn.
What do they say? Like nothing, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. I'm like, that's not true.
That's not true.
That's not true. Some things that taste way better than me.
French
Skinny. There's a lot of things actually.
Yeah.
But like when you're on a diet and you're restricting everything, and that's when it becomes miserable. And then that's what happens when you go on a binge. Yeah. Because you've
Absolutely.
been dieting for 3 weeks and you've not allowed yourself to even touch sweets.
Yeah.
So the moment it touches your lip, it's like crack.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can, food can be addicting. I mean,
Yeah.
and the minute you have that, you just kind of like.
I do think they put things in food to make it addictive.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think there's maybe certain chemicals. Yeah.
Crumble.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will listen. My cousin used to talk about crumble. I see there being something in those cookies
wouldn't be
because
surprised.
I don't like sweets like that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it. I think I talked about it again last week. See, I'm talking about thinking about it again. See, that's what I'm
It's not
talking
even
about.
that good.
I'm telling you, Jillian, you just haven't had the right cookie. Jillian only had a chocolate chip cookie from there. I would never say go to Crumble Cookie and get a chocolate chip and then judge it on it.
Yeah, Crumble's good.
Oh,
Crumble's
okay.
good.
I think that is a part of Crumble Cookies is the uniqueness of the cookies and the different
Yeah.
types of cookies. So
Okay.
chocolate chip cookie,
So
don't
for me,
waste your time.
and I've said this before. I said for me, as a cookie place, the basic, any baker, you have to have a solid chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Of course. Yeah.
And so for
guess
me,
I don't like it ever,
if
so
you
it
know,
doesn't really matter.
if you
Yeah.
have that down solid, that means you've mastered the basics.
Yes.
And so for me, if you can't get a chocolate chip cookie right,
What are you doing?
That means you haven't mastered the basics. So everything else you're building, I don't know. Like I said,
You gotta try another cookie because
I
I'm
guess
telling
I
you
have
again a pink velvet cookie.
Ooh,
It was like
divine.
divine. Okay.
that was crack.
Yeah, Crumble is good.
That man, like I'm gonna look out for it.
Yeah.
Again, like I can't wait for it to come back so I can have it again.
Yeah.
Like that's how good it was. So.
Yeah.
See, my mouth is filled up with some.
Because she's talking about that.
Talk
But
about
yeah.
crumble. Anyway, let's go back to a body.
Yeah. Instead of crumble.
Speaking of body image, don't taste crumble because it will ruin whatever diet regimen you're on. So, but I want to kind of go back to the men piece though, especially talking with Michael. So I do think that it's very much like more of a woman thing, like to the pressures of body image. I do think it's like overlooked how much men actually deal with body image.
I think you're right.
Because men do.
Yes.
Right? And I think especially with these, it's certain, I don't think so much nowadays, but like maybe like 5 years ago, it was like all about the six pack
Yes.
and having the V and working out. So, I mean, what is
Here's
your
the
take
thing.
on it?
Here's the thing. I also have another.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to just build on what she said. Also, do you think the pressure comes from more from other men or specifically women? Because I think with
yeah.
women, I'm like, we can easily like the six pack, but we also like the dad bod.
Yeah, we
Sure.
do.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I call it a money belly.
Yes, thank
You
you.
eating, honey.
Yes.
That's good. You
So,
don't skimp on
Do you
meals.
think
Yeah, no, good
A, what
question.
Janice is saying, but also do you feel like it's coming from other men or is it specifically for women?
That's a good question, Jillian. I feel like a lot of it's changed over the years. I feel like nowadays, like you're mentioning dad bods, men are feeling more comfortable with a pooch. Back in the day,
Women, God forbid, if they have a pooch.
Right, exactly. But I remember days when, remember the movie Night at the Roxbury from whatever year, 2019.
Yeah.
Around that time, everyone was like, a man has to be like
Ripped. and like that V. And
yes, exactly. Like
the shoulders have to be proportionate.
Everything has to be.
And then now it was like that legs. You can't have little small legs and have a nice upper body. Like
yeah, it's just
their image is just different.
Like, no, I think now it's like more people are open to different types of bodies.
What about in the gay community?
That's a great question. So actually, that's where I was going with this. So in the gay community, there are a lot of gay men who are obsessed, and I mean the word obsessed, with their image and the image of those that they engage with, entangle. Yeah,
entangle.
Whether it's friendship. I mean, I know people that will be
even in friendship.
Yes.
Wow.
When I was in California, when I lived in LA for 6 years, there were people. They call them the clones, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of like the plastics, Mean Girls, where you're not you're not in the group unless you have a six pack. What do you look like shirtless? What do you look like without?
Really?
Yeah, like is are you?
And this is non-sexual. It's
purely
just platonic.
Purely just like almost like you surround yourself with what you want to be.
Precisely. You surround yourself. You have to be like with a certain caliber. Like if I'm gonna be seen with you at a party in the hills, I don't want some fatso thinking he has a chance. I mean, these are not my words. Or
I don't want you to think that he's fat. This is my fat friend.
Right.
Hey,
it's
fat
totally
friend.
different. It's totally different. And
so
yeah,
and I think it's totally different for women.
I'm sure.
I think you can have that group, and I've seen this talked about before, where you'll have the maybe fatter or maybe not as attractive friend, and sometimes the other person is maybe thinner and more attractive, and they see it almost like an ego boost when they go out. And so when they're getting attention, and that fat friend will be like, okay, fine, whatever, it's just not my day.
Yeah.
But then if that particular person starts getting attention for whatever reason, the other person gets in their feelings and almost attacks that friend.
I see what you're saying.
That's a part of the friendship conversation. That's a friend you need to remove.
Yeah, and I think that happens a lot more in female friendships.
Yeah, right. Remove that friend. That's I've had. Yeah, you gotta remove friends like that.
Yeah,
when they don't want to see you win, or they get jealous, or there's a secret competition. I've definitely had that with my girlfriends, to where it's like we're secretly competing, and I'm like,
what are we doing?
For what? I don't want to compete with you for any man's attention. Like I'm good, girl.
Yeah.
Like. I know for me, for sure, it's always been the moment there's a confusion of you're interested in me or my friend, go with my friend. I don't want you.
That's great.
I wish more people were like that. Because at the end of the day, I need you to be clear about who you're attracted to here.
Right.
Yeah. I don't need to be confused.
Right. No, I think in the gay community too, one of the things I really noticed was that people will like, even on dating apps, and I'm not talking Grindr, I'm not talking those hookup apps. Those are apps that have a purpose. But I'm talking OkCupid. I'm talking, I can't even Hinge, all these other ones. Yeah. You can't even say like, "Hey, how are you today?" And then they see your pictures, and then they don't respond, and that's fine. Look, if they don't want to respond, they have every right to not respond. I'm not being all sensitive.
Damn, it's harsh.
But it is hard. It's just that thing of like, all I said was, "Hi, how are you today?" And then they're not going to engage.
Don't you have to match with that person before you can message
them?
No,
not on OkCupid.
Oh, okay.
I was specifically talking about OkCupid.
So
and even if you do match, that's happened before, where they on Tinder, is that the one where you swipe right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see like, they match with me, and then you'll be like, hey, how are you? Nothing. Crickets. And it's like, okay.
Oh, so the reason why, but why people do that, because people say that this is the casting a wide net is what people are doing. Yeah. So they're not reading your profile, even really looking at your picture. They're just swiping. Accept.
Oh, that's stupid. I do not have time to go through all that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't even want to waste my time looking at your profile if I'm not interested.
That's what I'm saying. So
you're right. I mean, it is based off of just initial attraction.
And that's
and that's the thing. What I'm saying, when they're casting a wide net, they're not looking at your pictures or your profile. They're saying yes to everyone.
You don't see their pictures.
In OkCupid, honestly, it's been so long since I've been on it. I'm just talking about from past experience. Yeah, it's that thing of you do see their pictures, but then they'll say things like shirtless pic, and it's like, excuse me, I don't have. That's
so weird. Old school too. Like nowadays, if you ask me for my Snapchat, you're done.
Yeah.
If you ask me for pic, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. You're done. Like I don't have time for that. Go find you a
whatever
20-something-year-old that is still down for the Snapchat pics and the sexy sexting. I'm not doing.
Are you still on Snapchat, Janice?
I am, but I'm not on Snapchat. I'm not. If I just meet you, I'm not trying to add you on Snapchat.
Right.
I already know what you're trying to do on Snapchat, and I'm not even trying to go down that path. You're trying to send me a dick pic. I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want it.
Don't give me that.
I don't want to send naked pictures to you. I'm not doing it. So yeah, because it's so funny because like some guy just added me on Snapchat, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah. Of course, I'm not adding him. I'm just like, here we go.
I think it just feeds into I have a lot of body issues with myself. I have since even when I was like in my teens.
Same. I've always stared at my body and compared it to other people's bodies, and even the times where I was skinny, I would still like, but I'm not as skinny, as this person, right?
It's toxic. It's not healthy, and here we are,
And they do say like with Black women that we have. We're more muscular.
Right.
We have a more muscular base. And so I've always been more muscular, more thicker than my friends as far as who I grew up with as white women.
Yeah.
Because they just naturally have a thinner frame.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So now I've gained more and more confidence throughout the years, right?
That's great.
But it's still something I compare myself to the next person, and there is like and as I got older, I got better. But I know even with men, like, what are they looking at? Are they looking at my stomach? Is it too soft? Are my boobs too, saggy? But of course, then the men are like, I don't give a shit as long as those titties are naked. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
okay. But you still, as a human,
you're still self-conscious.
Yeah. I think the gay community has a lot of work to do. I mean, we just need to reflect and there's nothing wrong with.
Do you think they're still like that?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
So, because it's so funny, because I went to a gay bar last weekend. It was called Hidden Door.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard?
Yeah.
Oh, you've been there? You've been there? Okay. I was thinking, I wonder if Michael's been here.
Michael's been a lot of places. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not.
Well, it was super crowded.
Yeah.
And I was like a little taken back because I haven't been in a gay club in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, they were like shirtless in their underwear. Yep. I was like, oh,
okay.
And they're like little money in their little briefs, and I was like, oh my gosh. So, but for me, I was like, none of these, not none, but the majority of the men were not fit.
Right.
They were not. And they were rubbing up on each other.
I believe it, yeah.
So I was like...
So you're talking about the patrons or the dancers? Okay.
The patrons.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't see any dancers there.
Oh, okay. So, I'm
Hidden
sorry.
Door, and
I'm sorry. I assumed when you said naked with just their underwear and money, I thought they were dancers.
These are... That was what was taken... That took me back. Because these are just patrons literally in their underwear.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. I was painting a different picture in my head. Okay. I thought they worked there.
There were no dancers. I mean, the bartenders were a little scantily clad, but it was just interesting to me. Like, you're standing in line waiting for your drink, and you're shirtless with like sneakers on and underwear. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like,
I honestly.
And then I went outside, and we were sitting down, and there was just this gay couple, and they were clearly together because he was rubbing up on him. And I was like, it was hot and sticky, so I was like, ooh, that looks horrible. But I was like, but neither one of them, once again, were super fit. I mean, very good looking in the face, if you ask me, but like,
not
it wasn't what I was used to like 10 years ago when I was out in gay clubs.
You're right, Janice. Okay. You're completely right.
They weren't that. Yeah. They weren't fit and like six-pack-ish, but you also have the gay men at the gyms who all they think about is working out and looking good. So it's like that image that you like that we were talking about, that's the ones you still see in the gym.
Sure.
But then there was like definitely beer, what do they call them? Bears.
Yeah, bears.
There were definitely bears up in there. I was like,
there's some bears up in here.
Okay. And it's so crowded and hot, and I was just like, and they were just rubbing up on each other, and I was like,
hey. All right.
I think I was the only woman. I was like, excuse me.
Excuse me.
Pardon me.
Excuse me. Can you buy me a drink?
They were super nice to me.
That's good. Yeah. Well,
they even guarded the door while I went to the bathroom. Like, okay, you go. We'll guard. I was like, thank you.
I think there's something to be said, Janice, about what you just said about, it has gotten better for people, that are not as conventionally fit. So, but I will say it does feel, maybe it's just my experience. I can't speak for all gay men, obviously, but in my experience, and maybe it's like this in the straight world too, I don't know, but there's so much focus on like, what are you at your most intimate? Like they want to get there too fast. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like they want to know, like, what are your kinks? And it's like, I'm sorry, this is okay, cute, but this is not.
But I agree with that. That's why I'm telling you, for the people who add me on Snap, like want to add me on Snapchat, or they're instantly like, can I get a pic, babe?
Right.
Or calling me babe right away.
Right.
Like,
it's like, oh.
Even like when they ask me out and they're like trying to go to I'm not going to your house.
Right.
I don't know you. So you know that they're looking for.
That's
then they're like, well, what do you like in bed? Yeah, I instantly, like, there are certain things that people say that will instantly get you like, I won't say anything to you at all.
We're done here.
We're done here. We're done. Thank you. And 10 years ago, might have entertained it.
Yeah.
Right? But nowadays, I'm like, I'm good.
Well, it's not what you're looking
sweetie.
for. Yeah.
Thanks.
But I want to tie that last thing into body image. I think we all, most of us at least, feel a sense of vulnerability when it comes to like, I don't look as pretty as her, or I don't look as handsome as him, or whatever.
Sure.
But I think it's like, with Lizzo, celebrating our flaws. It's not about disregarding, I want to lose 30 pounds and never look like this again. I have friends that don't even look at pictures of themselves when they were bigger. They rip them apart. I have one friend who literally got rid of all the photos of her when she was bigger, and she's like, I didn't exist then. And every time she'll counter one, it's really sad. And she'll counter one, and she'll be like, I don't even want to see that. And it's like, that's you, though.
But that was you, and that was you in that stage in your life,
and that's just it.
But could it be the fact is that maybe she felt invisible at that bigger size, and maybe she's like, I feel like I didn't really exist until I got to this particular point.
That's true. Yeah.
And then that could be, but I think to Michael's point, that's sad.
Yeah.
Right. That you feel like, because now you're saying, I'm acknowledging that I didn't exist, but you did. Yeah, and you should know, like, however you look now, you were still beautiful then. Maybe you're at your goal now, but
you're valid.
It's not that, and I think it could be because of external,
and then
of course
again,
things.
Even though you're at your weight goal now, if something like that happened, does it change how you feel about you?
Exactly, because I've heard that a lot from people who have said that even though they've gotten to their goal weight or their ideal, whatever, if they've had plastic surgery, whatever reasons, let's say maybe they had a nose job or whatever thing people do, even though their outside has changed, their internal thought process and how they feel inside is exactly the same. And so when they look in the mirror, it's
not a fit.
They don't see their external. They see what they
were
or who they think they are in their heads.
You're absolutely right.
What's in their head, and they're still in that mindset. And I think that a lot of it too, I think we're taking things in the wrong order, where I think almost like we have to fix the internal before the external can then fully embrace and be what I would say, hey, what you feel is ideal for you.
Exactly.
Not necessarily what society is. I think we definitely have to fix what's going on in our heads. Because I think if we don't, we're always going to be on that hamster wheel of always
not feeling good enough.
Just that constant feeling. No matter what I do,
chasing
I'm still,
something else, chasing the next best you.
Right.
Okay, well, if I change this about myself, then I'll love myself. Well, I change this about myself, then I'll love myself. You should just, and that's why I'm like, and then we can kind of go into closing thoughts too. But for me, that's why I'm like, you can't necessarily tie your scale to how you feel about yourself. Because that number is going to continuously change throughout our lives. Right. So at your core, what do you feel about you? And that's sometimes where, help from an outside resource is helpful to understand, like, how do I feel better about myself? How do I get to a place of loving and accepting myself outside of just what I look like on the outside? Because what's on the outside can change. Like, people there are tragic things that happen to people,
Yes.
right? So if you're thinking and validating who you are as a person with your external beauty, you know, beauty is again within the eye of the beholder, and beauty fades.
Yes.
Right. So I do think having a healthy relationship with yourself internally is key. And then everything on the exterior is just icing on the cake.
People are drawn to confidence. If you're confident about yourself and your
Yes.
appearance, people are
I've
drawn
seen,
to that.
very skinny people and very large people
Yeah.
who are extremely confident,
Yeah.
and people flock to them
Yeah,
because
I
of
love
that,
that.
no matter what. And that's something that, even for myself, like, people just naturally assume that I'm super, super confident, which I do give off that, and I do feel confident
Good.
a lot of the
of the
times,
time, yeah.
right? But I'm also human.
Of course,
So, yeah, I do have my moments where I'm like, oh, look at this.
And you know what?
Right, yeah.
Going off on the
this.
confidence thing, I think that's maybe why some people really hated on Lizzo, is that she's was
always
fat,
been confident.
fat and confident. Like, how dare you be that confident in that body? And I think that's why people felt like they
Interesting.
had to chip away at her confidence.
Wow. Good point.
Because they felt like her confidence didn't match her body.
Good point, Jillian. I
So-
like that.
And
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. And I love that now she embraced her body at the time.
Yeah.
And she's still embracing her body now. And
Yeah.
she's still like, I don't care what you guys say. It's all about what I think.
Yeah, how I feel.
And I also think that Lizzo's been very vocal about the fact that she's had her down moments. She's had her, depression and her
mental
moments
health.
of feeling not good enough.
Yeah.
But it was never wrapped up in what other people thought.
You're right.
It was based off of what she
own.
thought. So, and I think she's done a really good job with building her confidence and not allowing people to drag her down. And now with this journey, it is truly for her, I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, and I think because she's had that confidence and what this journey that she's on, I feel like when the inside matches what she feels like should be the outside, because she's on this journey.
She looks so good too.
Yeah, she's going to embrace the moments along the journey.
Yeah.
So like when she was heavier, where she's at now, or I don't know if she's gotten to her goal weight or her end goal, that she is present and confident in herself the
Wherever
entire
she
journey.
is. Yeah.
Wherever she is in the journey. So I like that
Right.
for her. So yeah, I feel like my takeaway is that when it comes to body image, I think a lot of it is external pressures, but then again, we internalize a lot of those things, and there are certain things that are like, okay, I want to change this or change that. But I think a lot of it, I feel the mental aspect needs to be addressed first. Because I think people have, I've had, when it comes to whether you're on Ozempic or have had weight loss surgery, or if it's diet and exercise or whatever you choose to do, I think a lot of it is it's a mental toll.
Oh, for sure.
No matter how you choose to get to
Make that shift.
a lot of it's mental, because I think
yeah.
what it caused people to, there's many different reasons why people gain weight. Sometimes it's medical, sometimes it's medication that you're on. People have different chronic diseases that causes them to gain weight. It's not always just, oh, you're overeating, you're lazy, yada,
Yeah,
yada,
there are a lot of
yada.
factors involved.
And we make those assumptions based, they're lazy and they can't stop shoving
Like eating
shit
too
in their
much.
mouth,
Right,
right?
yeah.
And there's many different eating disorders. You can be anorexic, and you could be a binger, overeater. There's a spectrum when it comes to the eating disorder as well. So I think for us, or for me personally, I'm working on the mental aspect, because I know that if I don't work on the mental aspect, nothing external is going to stick.
You're so true. Right. You're so right.
So that's
with that.
that's where I am in my journey.
Good for
Is
you.
working
Good
on
for you. Great.
what's going on in between my ears instead of necessarily
Yes.
what's on the scale.
More of that for all of us, for sure.
Yeah.
I need to take a page out of that book.
Yeah, all of us do. I try to think about what's inside.
Yeah.
I try to.
It's hard.
And then but you look good.
Yeah.
Calm down.
You're good. You're good.
You're all right.
Even like for me, I'll have days where I'm like, I'll catch my reflection in the mirror at work, and I'm like, is this what I look like today?
Stop. I mean, trust me, like, because I have those moments too where it's just like, oh, Janice, you look so nice today. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
I look like shit. But thank you. And I even like now after like, I had my surgery, I do have a pretty large scar, and I'm like, that's going to be another thing I have to overcome. And, as far as my body image and being naked in front of another human, like that's going to be a thing. Yeah.
No matter what I tell her, it's just like, girl, if you don't care, no one else will care.
That's true.
Honestly,
I
I think
it's hard.
I understand what you're saying.
Hard to say that.
It's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard.
It's a conversation, and it's just it's a conversation about your body.
Sure.
Yes, it's a conversation, but I feel like
so it's always like rough.
I understand.
I feel like because you don't like it and you're uncomfortable, you may project onto other people. Yeah. And and people be like, oh, really?
So, and it would be different if I hadn't had a scar growing up, because I had a brain tumor at 5. Right, so anytime somebody's seen my scar in the back of my neck, it's a conversation.
Sure.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God, what happened here?
Yes. And that conversation is always like it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's always something like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like it's always been that way for me.
And here's the thing.
And it's always a bit of like a drop in your stomach.
I'm sure.
For me.
Okay, and because you've shared that story with me, I tend not to. My rule of thumb is unless you broach the subject, I'll just keep it to myself.
Bring up the scar, yeah.
I'll just keep it to myself. I'm like, if you want to share that journey, if you want to share that, or I'm sometimes
and I understand.
I am just too curious. Like maybe we're more comfortable and be like, if you, and I always preface, if you don't want to share, don't. But do you mind sharing? Your story
even
here.
One here, I get a lot of questions about that, like the one for my wrist when I broke it. Like it's just like conversation, and it's what is that scar? And I mean, scars are battle wounds. I do truly believe that, and it's just the testament to being a warrior.
Yes,
right. But it's still. It's a me thing. It's a mental thing. It's a conversation. It's like I don't know. Yeah.
I get it.
It's a personal battle for sure. But Michael, I wanted to let's go back over here and talk about your closing thoughts on body image.
So I think if I want to put a pin on the topic, I would say I need to think of myself less as at the mercy of other people, because if I say hi on OkCupid, or like I don't say hi, I say like, hey, how are you today, or something, and they ignore me, I let that.
You automatically go back and think, oh, it's because the way
hideous.
I look.
Yes, I go like I'm hideous or something,
and
I know that I'm not, but I just go to that place, and it's stupid because we're so. And then
I think online it's even harder because you have no idea.
You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what
it is,
and that's just it.
But you just assume it's the way you look,
and especially because it's like I didn't say let's get married. I simply said how are you today? We could just be friends. I didn't say like I'm interested in dating you. Let's
even though every time I was like, what are you interested in? I'm like, what do you think I'm interested in? Like you want? I think they think are like, are you trying to hook up or you want something serious?
Yeah,
that's for women to men.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
So
but and it might be different for gay men. So maybe it is like we can be friends, but I'm not on here for friends. I can make friends in person.
No, that's how
I'm
feel
totally
too.
fine. Now I don't want to push anything, and it does start off as friendship, but
you don't want to.
But also, Michael, please understand, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We've talked about this before, where y'all like, oh my God, Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling are just like the hottest shit. And I'm like, I don't get it.
That's fair.
And
you're right. It's a good example.
There's nothing wrong with those men.
No,
I don't get it. As far as like hot, I'm like, hot? Like, really?
And you're like when I can tell somebody's had like that their whole lives, and I can be the one to be like, you ate all that?
So
I would never.
It truly is, what's the saying? Every pot has a lid. So you're that's just not your lid. So.
And that's just it.
I never heard that.
Like there's always someone that will be super into you. I've dated guys in the past that are like, you're so handsome, or da da da, and I don't believe them. My first place, because
it's an internal thing.
It's an internal thing. I go to this place.
It's an internal battle.
You get it, or I guess.
Yeah, I definitely do, because people tell me all the time,
you're beautiful.
You're so beautiful, and I'm like, thank you. And I know, like I'm attractive, but I pick myself apart.
That's what I do. Yeah,
I completely.
Eviscerate.
Everything I pick apart, certain things that nobody would notice, that I'm like, but
I'm a monster.
Like, and that's why I angle certain ways. And then when somebody's like staring and you're like, you're so beautiful. I'm like,
don't look at me.
okay. I like look down. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then people tell me all the time, you need to learn how to take a compliment. I'm like,
shut up.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I get it, Michael. And that's why I'm saying like body image. And that's why I wanted to talk about that today, because it is such an internal thing with external influences.
Yes.
Letting them have more control than you should give them.
Yeah.
I mean, why should I let this stranger
Because
who I'm never going to meet
I may not have thought half the things about myself had those external opinions not ever come to me.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And then now, because one person saw it or pointed it out, it's something that I've always, like, I'll become self-conscious about.
Sure.
Right.
And don't give power, like for me, don't give power to the people that don't deserve to have any power over you.
Yeah, like for example, like, so I have an eye, like one of my eyes, like when I'm tired, it kind of droops down a little bit. So it's a little bit of a lazy eye. And anytime somebody has pointed it out, it's been like, I'm so self-conscious about it now. So then now it's hard for me to look people in the eye for too long, because then I'm like, is it drooping? Like, so little things like that. Which people who know and love me are like, I never noticed it, Janice. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, except for that one person that pointed it out. So
their voice is louder than all the rest.
And their voice is louder than anybody else's.
There's plenty of things I'm like, huh? I didn't even notice.
Jillian all the time, she's like, what, Janice? No.
Girl,
I'm like,
that's a good sister.
Oh,
because she loves me.
No. There's that, and when we were little, my sister has, I guess you call it a widow's peak, where the hairline comes out a little bit of thing.
That's the thing too.
I've looked at Janice's face from the day she was born. Never bothered me.
Never thought. Look at that widow's peak on that girl.
Look at oh, that's so weird. Girlfriend, the only time I noticed it is when she shaved it,
because somebody pointed it out. And
it grew back. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
and
she's when it grows back, it looked horrible.
I'm just like, girl, what did you do? She goes, I shaved it, it's growing back. And I was just like, why would you do that? I didn't even notice. And I'm like, I have looked at your face every single day for your entire life, and it wasn't even a thought in my mind about this girl's hairline until she shaved it off. And that shows you it wasn't even thought about it.
We should all be careful about things that we point out on people, because you just never know. And that's why I tend to not comment on people's looks, or try not to, because I just never know what is like your trigger. What is the thing that you're like super self-conscious about that you shouldn't point out? Like somebody the other day pointed out my feet going out, and I was like, oh thanks.
Yeah.
It was so
but they're not thinking anything of it. They're thinking you're beautiful, you're great. Why would you even care that your feet go out? I mean, I don't know, but
we have our own little voices.
We have our own little things.
Yeah, so one person pointed it out, and she completely, I'm like, girl.
Yeah, I shaved it off. Yeah.
It was just like, I didn't even notice or thought there was anything wrong with your hairline until you shaved it. And then I'm now like, okay, now this isn't normal. This isn't my Janice. So hurry up and grow it back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we all have our things. I just think, again, it's all about internal and making sure you love yourself from inside, and then projecting that to the outer appearance, right?
People see it. They
do get drawn to confidence. Yes. And it's a journey for you, for me, for Jillian, I was pointing at Michael. But it's a journey for all of us, and I think we should all just embark on the journey, just knowing that ultimately the people who love you and they think you're perfect,
and we're enough.
And we are enough.
And you're the only one that has to live with you 24/7. So true. As long as you like it, who cares what anyone else thinks?
Like learn to love your
flaws.
Learn to love your flaws, because they're a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And then the things that you can change them.
Yeah.
I have no problem. Like, literally, that's what I'm saying. I don't plastic surgery, working out, whatever it is.
Right.
Do you.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
But make sure the internal matches the external.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. I think that's a good thing to end on then. Okay.
So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here. Happy Election Day.
Yeah,
hopefully it ended the way you want.
Wink, wink.
We want. Okay. Meaning so hopefully, you guys having a good Wednesday, but other than that, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.